Hi guys, I'm back with another video. I'm here today to give you my 2017 most anticipated books, as of right now at least. Don't have a super long list of books that I want to read. It may have been a lot bigger had I been caught up to all the series that has new releases coming out in the year, but there's a lot of books that I still have to read in those series to get there, so I'm not as excited about those as I probably would have if I'd been caught up to them, if you get my drift. Before I get into the books, I'm not sure I'm gonna get all of the books right the minute they're gonna get out, but I'm definitely interested in checking them out sometime during the year, hopefully. So I'm gonna tell you these books in the order that they come out. So the first one is the release that's closest to release date now, and then towards the later part of the year. The first book on my list is called Frostblood by Ellie Blake. I'm not sure if this is a debut novel from her, but it's definitely the first book to become a trilogy. It's a fantasy series about a 17-year-old girl called Ruby, who's this fireblood, and she's part of a very, very minor group of these firebloods, and they're doing everything they can to hide themselves from the Frostbloods, but she's joining the rebellion of the Frostbloods to sort of try and take down the throne, and she only decides to do that after her mother has been killed, so she has a lot of revenge and stuff. That's sort of what I get from the synopsis of this. It sounds really interesting, and just the couple of reviews that I've seen of it looks really interesting as well, and I'm definitely looking forward to see what this is all going to be about. The next one on my list is Caraval by Stephanie Garber, a debut novel, and it's a standalone, I believe, or maybe it's part of a series, I'm not sure, but it does sound a bit like The Night Circus. I haven't even finished The Night Circus yet, so I have to get back to that, but it's about these two sisters or twins who escaped their father, who's seems like a very horrible man, and they joined the legendary game. Just the first sentence of the Goodreads page says, "Whatever you've heard about the Caraval, it doesn't compare to the reality. It's more than just a game or a performance, it's the closest you'll ever find to magic in this world." So yeah, to me it sounds a little bit like The Night Circus, just with something that's very mysterious and stuff, and yeah, it sounds really interesting, and I'm definitely intrigued to see what this is all going to be about. And Caraval is to be released on January 31st, and Frostblood is to be released on January the 10th. And the next book on my list is Empress of a Thousand Skies by Rhoda Belisa. I really adore this cover. I think it's really beautiful. It sort of reminds me of the Across the Universe covers. I haven't read that series yet, but it's also a series that I'm interested in. But yeah, this looks pretty cool. It sounds a little bit like Star Wars or something. It follows this girl called Ree, who's a crown princess, who's the only surviving heir to a powerful dynasty or something, and then she'll stop at nothing to avenge her family and claim her throne. Then we have Eli, I think the main character, who's part of the refugee origins. He's apparently falsely accused of killing Ree and has to prove his innocence. And then we have a villain. To me, it's a science fiction book, but it sounds a bit like Star Wars. I just went to see Rogue One over Christmas break, and that was really, really fun. I haven't watched all of the Star Wars movies, but I've watched the 4th and the 6th and episode 1, 2, and 3, and I have watched almost all of The Force Awakens. But yeah, I was told I was able to follow Rogue One no matter had I watched the other movies or not, because it's basically the beginning to book 4. Well, movie 4, number 4, and I really liked it, and to me this sounds a bit like Star Wars to me, so I would be all down for that. This book is expected to be published on January 7th. The next book on my list is Winter Song by S.J. Jones. I believe this is a debut novel as well. I really like this cover. It looks a bit like Beauty and the Beast with the rose in this glass ornament thing, but yeah. This book is apparently about this girl called Lysel who has always been hearing these tales about the Goblin King, who is this sort of known as the Lord of Mischief and a ruler of the underground. And one day her sister is being taken captive by the goblins, and she journeys down to try and rescue her from them. But in order for her sister to get back to the real, they have to be alive for her life. So the Goblin King will have to take her in instead. Apparently, that's what I get from the synopsis, at least. It sounds interesting. I think it sounds a little dark and mysterious, and yeah, I'm pretty interested in see where this is gonna go. It's already gotten quite a few high rates on Goodreads by people who've read arcs for it, and yeah, it's really intriguing me to pick it up. And it's supposed to be released on February 7th of 2017. The next book on my list of anticipated books is going to be the new release by Sophie Kinsella. It's going to be called My Not So Perfect Life. Yeah, I adore Sophie Kinsella. I think her standalone novels are the best. I haven't read all of her Shopaholics books because there's something about that series I don't really like, but I really enjoy all of her standalones, and I definitely will check this book out when it comes out. It's also going to be released on February the 7th, so a lot of books are to be released on that date. And the next book on my list is going to be Neil Gaiman's Norse Mythology. I am pretty excited about this. I've only read 3 Neil Gaiman books, and I've mostly enjoyed the books that I read. There were definitely some differences between them, but in my rates. But I'm interested in getting back into Neil Gaiman's books, and this topic is interesting because I have grown up with Norse mythology, so I am hoping to find a fun way of learning some more about it, or seeing if he captures the Northern mythology in the right way. And this book is also supposed to come out on February the 7th of 2017. So then I also have a book by Jennifer L. Armentrout on my list, and that's called Till Death. And it's a standalone book about a girl who has been attacked by this serial killer but escaped. And she's sort of trying to deal with the aftermath of that happening. Then there's this man who's trying to keep her safe, this FBI agent, and I think it's turning into maybe a love story or something. I don't think Jennifer L. Armentrout could write anything without a romance in it, so I believe there's going to be some sort of romance in it. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one. Jennifer L. Armentrout always releases a lot of books over the year, but I like that this is a standalone, so I don't have to be attached to another series on my very, very endlessly long series list. Until Death is supposed to be released on February 28th of 2017. The next book on my list is going to be The Ship Beyond Time by Heidi Halig, the sequel to The Girl from Everywhere. I read the first book in February last year. I remember enjoying it, but not being completely sure this was a series that I wanted to continue. But I am really interested in this sort of time traveling system, and there were some things that I want to check out again. So I'm going to check out the next book. I think I'm pretty certain I will look into it again, maybe, and see how she's developing as an author as well. The Ship Beyond Time is supposed to be released on February 28th, as well as the previous book. And then I also interested in reading the sequel to the Rebel of the Sands trilogy, or series. I don't know how long it's going to be, by Alvin Hamilton. The second book is going to be called Traitor to the Throne, and it's supposed to be released on March the 7th. I mostly enjoyed Rebels of the Sands. There were some issues with it, but I thought that it was getting a lot more interesting towards the end, so I'm interested in seeing where this is gonna go. This is also a series that I'm gonna give another go. So I'm interested in seeing. I still think that she's managed to come up with a quite beautiful cover again, but it's hard to beat her debut novel, but I still think it's pretty beautiful. The next book on my list is an anticipated one. It is the sequel to The Trials of Apollo, and it's going to be called The Dark Prophecy, and it's supposed to be released on May 2nd of 2017. I'm very highly anticipating this book. I love Rick Riordan's writing, and I enjoyed Trials of Apollo. It might be my least favorite Rick Riordan book so far, but I'm pretty sure that I'll still enjoy this one. And then obviously I also have the anthology on my list that's called Because You Love to Hate Me, 13 Tales of Villains by a bunch of authors, as well as they've teamed up with a bunch of popular booktubers, and in order to create these stories about villains, and I'm really excited to see where this is gonna go. I've just recently discovered anthologies, and I think they're a fun way to read, and so I'm definitely going to get this one as soon as possible. And my last book on my 2017 anticipated list is The Ship of the Dead, which is the third book to the Magnus Chasing the Gods of Asgard series, my favorite Rick Riordan series. Even though there's a Percy Jackson series, this tops it. Yeah, definitely can't wait to get this one. It's supposed to be released on October the 3rd of 2017. So yeah, these were the books that's currently on my anticipated reads list. Let me know in the comments down below if you're excited about any of these books, and what are your most exciting books for 2017. I'd like to see that as well. I know there's a lot of very popular sequels coming up in series that I have not at all started yet, so I can't really take them on because I don't know if I'm going to be excited about them, but I know a lot of people will be. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video, hopefully very, very soon. Goodbye!